The sun rose quietly over a small town in Montana, painting the hills with soft shades of gold. The world looked calm, but inside the walls of a small wooden house by the edge of Pine Lake, a storm was brewing in the heart of a man named Ethan Hayes. Ethan was 34, a war veteran, and a man who had seen too much too soon. His left leg carried the scars of Afghanistan, and his heart carried the scars of losing everything he once loved: his wife, his job, and his will to live. Every morning he would sit by his window with a cup of cold coffee, staring at the lake. The water reflected the sky, but all he could see was his reflection: tired eyes, unshaven face, and a soul that seemed to whisper, "You've failed." One particular morning, the world felt even quieter. Ethan stared out the window and muttered, "What's the point of all this? Why am I even here?" He opened the door to get some air, but what he found outside changed everything. A small injured dog lay near his porch, trembling, dirty, and bleeding from one paw. It looked like it hadn't eaten in days. Its eyes were filled with fear, and something else, hope. Ethan kneeled down, unsure of what to do. For the first time in months, someone else's pain mattered to him. "Hey there, buddy. What happened to you?" The dog whimpered softly, wagging its tail just a little. That small motion, that single act of trust, broke something inside Ethan. He brought the dog inside, washed its wound, and gave it some water. The dog looked up at him as if to say thank you. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. The small creature lay beside his bed, breathing softly. Something stirred in his chest, a feeling he thought had died long ago. The next morning, Ethan took the dog to the local vet, Dr. Clara Thompson, a kind woman in her 40s. She smiled warmly. "Oh, looks like someone found a friend." Ethan shook his head. "I just found him near my porch. He's hurt. Can you help him?" Clara nodded. "Of course. But you should know, he's not just injured. He's been abandoned, probably abused." Ethan felt a strange anger rising inside him. Who would hurt something so small? Clara looked at him kindly. "Sometimes people hurt others because they're hurting inside." Those words hit Ethan harder than he expected. As days passed, Ethan began to heal the dog. And without realizing, the dog began to heal Ethan. He named him Buddy. Buddy followed Ethan everywhere, from his morning walks by the lake to the late nights when Ethan couldn't sleep. Slowly, the walls Ethan had built around his heart started to crack. He began writing again, letters to his late wife, journal notes about his days, and sometimes stories about soldiers who found hope again. One day, while Ethan was sitting on the porch, Buddy suddenly ran off toward the woods, barking wildly. Ethan panicked, grabbing his cane and following him. Deep inside the forest, they found a young boy, lost, shivering and crying. The boy's name was Liam, about 10 years old. He had run away from home after his parents fought violently. Buddy stayed beside the boy, licking his hand, calming him down. Ethan knelt beside Liam. "Hey, it's okay. You're safe now." That moment, a broken man, a lost boy, and a rescued dog created a bond that would change all their lives forever. That night, Ethan called the police, and Liam's parents came rushing in tears. They hugged their boy, apologizing and thanking Ethan endlessly. But something strange happened. As Ethan watched that family reunite, tears rolled down his own face. He realized that saving others doesn't always mean you have to be perfect. Sometimes it just means showing up, even when your own heart is shattered. Later that night, as Ethan sat by the window again, Buddy resting his head on Ethan's lap, he whispered, "Maybe life isn't about what you lose. Maybe it's about what you choose to love again and again." Buddy wagged his tail softly as if agreeing. And for the first time in years, Ethan smiled. Not because everything was okay, but because he finally understood that even broken souls can still shine. Months passed since the night Ethan found Liam in the woods. Life had begun to breathe again inside the small wooden house by Pine Lake. Ethan, Buddy, and Liam had formed an unusual little family, not bound by blood, but by something stronger, healing. Ethan would wake early, make pancakes, and Liam would feed Buddy under the table when he thought no one was watching. They laughed more these days. The walls of the house, once echoing silence, now carried the sound of life. One morning, Ethan received a letter. It was from the local community center, inviting him to speak at a veteran awareness event about hope after war. Ethan stared at it for a long time. His heart pounded. He hadn't spoken publicly in years. Liam noticed the hesitation in his eyes. "Are you scared, Mr. Ethan?" Ethan smiled faintly. "Yeah, kid. Scared of my own voice, Liam giggled. Then maybe Buddy can go instead. Ethan laughed, the kind of laugh that only comes when your heart starts to heal. That night, as he looked at Buddy sleeping by the fireplace and Liam drawing in his notebook, Ethan whispered to himself, maybe this is what second chances look like. The day of the event arrived. The hall was full, veterans, families, kids, reporters. Ethan stepped onto the stage, his hands trembling. He looked at the crowd and began slowly. I used to think life was unfair. I used to think I had lost everything that made me who I was. But then life sent me two unexpected gifts, a dog who trusted me, and a boy who reminded me what love means. He paused, his eyes glistening. Buddy barked softly from the front row, as if cheering him on. The audience chuckled warmly. You see, Ethan continued, we all have moments when we hate our lives, when everything feels too heavy. But what I've learned is, sometimes the only way to heal yourself is to help someone else heal first. A standing ovation filled the room. People wiped their tears. Ethan felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. After the event, a woman approached him. She was from an animal therapy organization in Seattle. We run a program that connects rescued animals with veterans dealing with trauma, she explained. Would you like to join us? You and Buddy could help others. Ethan's eyes softened. You mean, help other people find what I found? She smiled. Exactly. It was the start of a new chapter. Not just for Ethan, but for everyone who crossed his path. 1 year later, the little wooden house was now home to many. Buddy had become a certified therapy dog. Liam, now thriving, would visit every weekend after school. Ethan had turned his pain into purpose, traveling across the country, telling his story, saving dogs, and giving veterans a reason to believe again. But one cold winter morning, life tested him again. Buddy, now older, fell sick. His breath grew shallow and his once bright eyes began to fade. Ethan held him close on the porch where it all began. Snow was falling quietly around them. Hey, Buddy, remember when you showed up at my door? You saved me that day. Buddy weakly wagged his tail. Ethan's voice broke. You taught me not to hate my life. You taught me love. As the first ray of sunrise touched the frozen lake, Buddy took one last breath, peaceful, calm. Ethan sat there for a long time, tears freezing on his cheeks, holding his best friend. Then he whispered, You didn't leave, Buddy. You just moved into my heart. Weeks later, Ethan planted a small tree near the lake, right where he had first found Buddy. He placed a wooden sign beside it that read, Don't hate your life, because even pain can grow into purpose. Every spring that tree bloomed brighter, as if Buddy himself was wagging his tail in the wind. And whenever Ethan stood there, speaking to the young veterans who came seeking hope, he would point to that tree and say, That's where love began again. Don't hate your life, because every heartbreak, every scar, every loss is a seed. And one day it will bloom into something beautiful if you dare to keep living. If you believe that every dog deserves love and every soul deserves a second chance, then please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your one click means the world to me, and to every story waiting to be told.